Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. We've got another Welcome to Rathe market update. Thank you for joining me tonight or this morning or whenever you ended up watching this. I got a couple of shout outs to do. First off, Mitch over the Midtown Merchant just put up a bunch of WTR Unlimited stuff. So if you're looking for unlimited stuff, that's a great place to purchase your cards. Unfortunately, somebody beat me to the last Rainbow Foil and Enlightened Strike. But anyway, make sure you head over there. Use my promo code JustLove10 to save 10%. If you can't find the cards you're looking for there, head on over to TCG Player. Use my affiliate link down in the description, and that really helps the channel. But if you really want to help the channel, if you really want to support my content, the best way to do so is to go to my Patreon over at patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. And you get access to my collection tracker, which uses all the videos I do, all the market data, automatically updates weekly for you in your collection tracker, and so you can see the ultimate value of your collection. You also get access to a Discord server. You get access to a lot of other things. $5 off your box breaks. You get access to a discount code from Midtown Merchant. You get access to a ton of stuff. It's I think a really pretty good deal. But and then I also have at a higher tier a podcast called If I Were Investing, where I kind of share more of my more of the opinions that I have about the market. And I kind of in these videos try to stick to the facts. So all right, let's get into Welcome to Rathe Unlimited. Let's hop in and see what sealed boxes are selling for. Look at that graph. Ready? We spiked all the way to 142, and now we're back down to around $100. We just had a reprint. More supply is in the hands of stores. I'm hearing that supply is not massive, but it seems to be this week at least enough to get us down below that 120 that we were last week. So you can see kind of all over the place. We're seeing sold listings in the $100 range. TCG Players about the same. They did kind of trickle up, but then more hit the market as more stores got it. One of the shipments was a little bit delayed from, I think it was PhD. The shipment was delayed, so that just got in now. So we'll still see some more boxes come into the market here pretty soon. So all in all, that's, it doesn't matter the percentage because we just want it to be cheap, right? That's what we want to be cheap. All right, let's get to the Fabled, the Heart of Fandale. The Heart is down 8% this week, from 600 to 550. We had a couple sold at that price point. Remember last week, actually earlier this week, between last video and this video, there's one that sold for 700, but now we've had two that sold at the 550 mark. So that kind of seems to be where it's balancing out. And so that's the Heart of Fandale, and that's down 8%. Sitting at 550. All right, let's get to the Legendaries. Oh, I was going to say something about it. I was like, I knew I was going to say something. I did pay attention a little bit to the Wall Street channel. Tower Number 9, who's a great deck creator, was talking about the use of Heart and Fandale in a couple decks or in his deck, and so there is some people who are trying to make it work kind of pretty strong. So keep an eye on that, because if that card gets picked up as a key card, that might increase a little bit. But all right, let's get to the Legendaries. Scabskin Leathers, no real change, down about $10. Tectonic Plating really sitting the same. Mask of Momentum down a little bit, and Brave Forge Bracers up a little bit. I think that's because the meta is kind of shifting a little bit more back towards Warrior a bit, and we are seeing the market be affected by these cards, by the playable cards. Sorry, we are seeing the cards be affected by the gameplay, which is just awesome. That's so healthy for the market. And the Spring Tunic up $5. All in all, everything's about the same at minus 0.53. But sitting at an average around $150 per Legendary. I love that. This shows a healthy market right here, where you have little ebbs and flows, but everything, no huge valleys or peaks. That's a healthy market right there. So, and then I also think it's healthy to see like Tectonic Plating and Scabskin Leathers, even though nobody plays, people play it, but even though it's not the meta, the cards still have some value, but they're significantly less value than the cards that are being played, which makes total sense. So it's good to see that. It means that the market is healthy and unlimited. So let's go ahead and move to the Majestics. This is the Rainbow Foils. We are up 0%, but I did want to highlight two of them. Ancestral Empowerment is down from $50. Remember, the last 2 weeks we've been kind of hot for Ancestral Empowerment, but now we're back down to $38, which is kind of where we were. And Enlightened Strike is up to $140, where Midtown Merchant did have one for $120 a couple 2 days ago, but TCG Player has been selling them for $140 a couple times this week. So Wanted to point that out there. And other than that, the prices of the other cards are pretty stable. Toma Fandel is down a little bit to $57, and your average is sitting still at $38. So let's move on to the Majestic non-foils. They are down 2%, with your average being around $18. The Enlightened Strike is down about $4 or $5. Keep in mind, I pull this data all at the same time. So just because right now there's currently one listed, one sold for $68 this week, but the current listed price for one is $64. So I choose that one because it is technically the market price. You can buy it for that price. If the market price was higher, let's say the last one sold for $68 and there's one on the market for $75, I would choose that $68 one because the market hasn't reached $75 because nobody has spent that. So I hope that makes sense. So there was one that sold for $68 on TCG Player this week, but the current price for it is $65 to buy it. So I hope that made sense. All in all, no huge changes here. A couple pennies here and there, really pretty much accurate to what it was last week. Let's go with the super rare rainbow foils. All right, so last week we had a 16% increase, and this week we had a little bit of a retracement, down 4%, but like Remembrance actually went up. So a lot of these other cards are losing a lot more value. Cranial Crush down $1.50, Reckless Swing down $1. Mugenshi Release down $1. Kind of all around, the other cards have kind of lost decent amount, not a lot really, but Remembrance couldn't hold it up even though it increased by $3. So all in all, your average super rare rainbow foil is sitting at $4.45. Let's go to the non-foil super rares. We are down 3% there as well. Iron Song Determination is actually up, but the rest of them are down, and Remembrance and the non-foil is actually down. And so if you want to take a look at a graph there, we kind of started high and we've been kind of just trending downwards a little bit. I'm going to try to find a better way to show you guys graphs eventually, but this is all I can handle right now. But anyway, let's continue. Let's go to the rare rainbow foils. Remember, on all the rares, I just used TCG lowest listed. And for the rainbow foils, there was one that I had to pull up because the lowest listed Sigil of Solace currently on TCG Player is sitting at $15. The last sold was at $8. So that's starting to dry up on the market for the rainbow foil version, which drove our average up 8% with a 50% increase in Sigil of Solace. The other cards are all pretty much the same as they were last week. Let's go to the rares. This is the non-foil rares. You're sitting at a loss of 8%, so sellers have lowered their cards by 8%, and you see we had a huge dip, and then we're just flatlined the last couple weeks. Common rainbow foils, your equipment cards are still sitting at the $4 to $6 mark for most of them, and they are moving at that. They're not dropping past that kind of $4. I guess like the iron rot plate that nobody uses is below $4, but the rest of them are sitting around $4 to $6. And your average, it doesn't really matter, but 75 cents. So, okay, let's go on to our EV calculation. So you get 42 rares, you get 4 foil rares, you get 4 super rares, you get 1 foil super rare, 2 Majestics, and 1 in every 4 boxes, you'll get a foil Majestic, and 1 in every 4 boxes, you'll get a foil Legendary. And somebody let me know if you've seen anybody get more than that. I had somebody reach out to me and say that they've been getting 2 Legendaries in, but that has not been the case on this channel or in my boxes. So maybe I just have terrible luck, and then 1 in 40 boxes gets the Fabled. So you're sitting at an average, if you were to open 40 boxes, you would be sitting around $127.11, but you're probably not going to open 40 boxes. You're probably going to open 1 box, or maybe you'll open a case. If you open a case, you're probably sitting at 120, 115 if you don't hit the Fabled. Maybe it's 118, something like that. But if you are only opening 1 box, you really should be expecting to hit more like $75 in your box. And so let's compare that to where we were last week. We compare that first number. Last week we were at 130, and this week we're at 127. We're down 3%. And let's get to our top 10 list. So Potion of the Strength, the rainbow foil, up from 518 to 617 is a weekly gain of 19%. The Alpha Rampage is up from $17 to $19.49, which is up 14%. And Remembrance is up up to 11% from $18 to $20. Unlimited Strike barely missed the list, though. I just want to identify that was probably the most money gain at $11.09. Weekly non-foil gainers, your super rare Iron Song Determination is up 43% from $4 to $5.75. Pounding Gale is up 36% from $1.50 to $2.10, and Blood Rush Bellow is up 6% from $4 to $4.25. And then the cards that lost the most value is Cranial Crush, down 42%, Reckless Swing, down 40%, and Sand Sketched Plan, down 27%. A couple Brute cards and a Guardian card there. Doesn't surprise me. The Bonehead Barrier also lost 45% in the non-foils. Sand Sketch Plan, that made both lists, losing 34%, and Remembrance non-foil lost 23%. Alrighty, well, that's your unlimited. Let's go ahead and head over to the alpha version. So in WTR Alpha, I've got sealed boxes at $3,800. And, there was a couple that sold at that range. Actually, there was 3 sold at that range. This is very, very, very evident that that's the price this week, $3,800. And compare that to last week, we haven't moved at all. So nice to see the market kind of stabilizing. We had a peak up to the 4,300, but now we've dipped back down, and now we're kind of in another kind of plateau here. Let's move on to the Fabled. So it's getting harder and harder for me to get data for you guys about the Fabled, and I'm kind of changing my opinion about how to handle things. In the past, I haven't really used any private data that people send me, but now there's just no public data. The lowest listed Heart of Fandel is $50,000, and nobody is listing any of them for less than that. So I'm going to start trusting certain people that I trust in the community, and double checking with other sources when they tell me that a heart sold. So I was told that from 2 different people about 2 different sales, the hearts that sold between $28,000 and $32,000. And I kind of went back with a couple other people and said, hey, this is what I'm hearing. Does this make sense based on what you're hearing? And they said yes. So it seems like hearts are currently selling between $28,000 and $32,000. So I'm going to track it at $28,000 this week. That is up from, the last public sale that we really saw was $25,000. And then I heard of one 2 weeks ago, kind of in private, at $23,000. And now that's what we're saying. So just so you know, you're not going to find it publicly, but that is the data that I'm being told, and I'm double checking things. I do not own a Heart of Fandel, so I don't really care if it goes up or down. Doesn't matter to me, but trying to present data for you. So let's get to the Legendaries. It was an interesting week. I do want to say that there was a tectonic plating. I don't think I had it pull up, that was labeled as a cold foil that sold for $825. It was not a cold foil. It was a rainbow foil. So don't get caught up on that. I almost got caught up on that, but I double checked all my work, and it was not a rainbow foil. It was not a cold foil. It was a rainbow foil. So if you're looking on eBay, that will pop up. It was like at $825, but it was a rainbow foil. It wasn't a cold foil, but it was labeled as a cold foil. Scabskin Leathers, I couldn't really find a sale for that, so I left it alone. Tectonic Plating, you're down about $100. There was a sold listing at $11.50 on eBay. Sorry, not on eBay, on Facebook. Actually, all these were sold on Facebook Marketplace. And Mask of Momentum sold for $18.38. I didn't actually get to see photos of that Mask of Momentum, so that one may not have been like in pristine condition. And keep in mind, a lot of the people who are buying these are looking for cards that are in pristine condition to try to get 9.5s and get them graded. Braveforge Bracers that sold on Facebook as well for $13.75, and there was a Spring Tunic that sold on Facebook as well for $3,900. So all in all, down 11%. These sales, a lot of these sales last week were more on eBay, which tends to trend higher, and these ones were on Facebook. I have no way of differentiating it. I know some people have suggested that I do. Don't use this data as like a hard factual number. Use this data to guide your sales. Use this data to track your collection. If you are looking to buy a Braveforge Bracer, you should go and do your own research and see what you can come up with sold listings before you trust somebody on the internet to tell you what the value of the card is, especially if you're spending $1,300 on something. So, I'm trying to give you a snapshot of the market, a snapshot of everything that's happening, and then you can take that and go look on Discord, look on Facebook, look on eBay, look on TCG Player for the moment, because in 2 days the prices could be completely different. So just keep all that in mind. All in all, your average is sitting at 1872. That was an 11% loss. The cold foil commons, here we go. All right, look at this trend line. Ready? Look at this trend line. Boom. We are trending up right now in the cold foil commons. 2 weeks in a row of double-digit gains in the cold foil commons. Last week we had a ton of these sold. This week the market is starting to dry up on them a little bit. And there's not that many below $300 that are being offered, but the ones that are being scooped up. So Bark Bone Strapping sold for $207. That was from $140. The Helm of Eisen's Peak sold for $285. That was from $235. Breaking Scales sold for $207. A Goliath Gauntlet was actually down from $230 to $207. Snapdragon Scalers up from $200 to $375. And Iron Knot Legs down from $181 to $175. All in all, a 10% gain, putting your average sitting at around $273.83. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've been talking about these cards for a while. I personally wanted some of them for the collection because it was something that I could afford. Other than the Legendaries, which I have a much harder time affording. But it seemed like, we talked about this way back when they were $100. This is an easy entry point for somebody who wants alpha cold foils, and maybe that's starting to happen. Anyway, that's what the data shows for these cards. You're up 10%. Your average is at 237, and compared to last week, the rates of gain are smaller, but still significant at 10%. Majestic rainbow foils. There was only really one that I could find that sold this week on the market, and that was a Spinal Crush. Let's pull that up. Oh, I did want to pull up. This was the Snapdragon Scalers that sold for $375. So, it was listed for $475. Somebody made an offer for $375 and got it accepted. All right, Spinal Crush right here sold for $200 for a rainbow foil Spinal Crush. So, I thought that was interesting. Thanks to the person who sent that to me. I was actually getting ready to shoot the video, and I had already pulled the data, and this sold today at 3 p.m. So pretty interesting there. So that's our only one that really sold this week. But all in all, we're down 4% because that was an expensive one. That was one of those ones that that sold, and it was kind of higher than the other ones at the time when it sold. It's back up to see when it sold. So that 450 number was way back on January 11th. That's how old that $445 or that $450 number was. We just hadn't had a sale, a public sale since then. So, all right, let's move on. Your average is sitting at 685, which was down 4% because of that loss. Your non-foil Majestics are sitting at $76.40. I tracked about 5 different ones that moved this week, and that was Blood Rush Bellow that sold for $45. A Spinal Crush, this number last week I kind of said was not very accurate, and was not going to be an interesting data point, or was an interesting data point because it was really low. But saw another Spinal Crush sell for $40. Glint the Quicksilver at $74, and Enlightened Strike is at $250 with Toma Fandel at $125. So that's a 2% gain, and up to about an average of $76.40. All right, let's go to the super rare rainbow foils. The super rare rainbow foils, I saw 2 of them sell. Kind of this big one is this Showtime that sold for $20. Let's see if I popped up this. I didn't. This Showtime that sold for $20. It sold for $20, which was pretty low, but it was an alpha. I did double check it, and it was from a pretty reputable seller, and it was in pretty good condition. So that's what it is. Rainbow foil, Showtime, is what it is. That's what it sold for. So that was a huge decrease from last time, but that's kind of the market data on it. And kind of that drove the market prices down. We saw Bonehead Barrier, which was on TCG Player. All of them dried up on eBay as well. And sitting at an average of $65 for the super rare rainbow foils. If you want to take a look at the graph, we had a little uptick, and then we're just plateaued over the last couple bit. The regular super rares, this is non-foil. Average is around $12.80. All these are, a bunch of these are kind of up and down and sold. I didn't mark all of them green because I guess I was lazy, but some of them moved or went up or down. But the biggest one was Singing Steelblade up to $31.50, and there was a couple copies that moved around that price. So Singing Steelblade's at $31.50. Iron Song Determination is up to $17. Last Ditch Effort up to $10. Crazy Brew, one of those sold on eBay for $13. So that kind of, went back to the price that it was before we saw one sell for $25. And yeah, that's about it. Your average is sitting at $12.80. As for rare rainbow foils, sellers have not really been moving their prices at all. Remember, the rares, I just used TCG low, and sellers have just really not been moving their prices. So your average rare rainbow foil is sitting at $26.95. And about the same thing is happening for the rares, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yeah, sellers just not really moving anything. Your average rare is sitting at $2.50. A lot of that is being driven by the potions. Most of the other rares are around, $1.50 or even less. Common rainbow foils. We had some of these sell in an auction a couple weeks ago, which kind of solidified some of the prices. All in all, we're up 2%. Nothing really to write home about, though. We had that Sink Below auction and a Razor Reflex auction. The commons were sitting at an average. This is where it gets kind of boring. We'll just skip through it, but around 75 cents. All right, let's get to the EV calculation. All in all, your EV at this box, you are sitting at $23.99.99. So make sure you buy it at that because it's at $.99. That's what makes you buy things. But remember, I kind of wanted to track the number. I think that is more healthy to track is without the non-foil commons, which is 2201.23. So that's the number that we track. But if you are just opening one box and you get lucky and you hit a rainbow foil majestic. So this is without the legendary, without the fabled, and the non-foil commons. You'd be sitting at around $1,033.80. So let's track that number, 2201. As we get over to the chart, 22. What happened there? I changed the other one. What did I just say? $23.99.99. $23.99.99. All in all, we're up 13% from last week at $21.20. And keep in mind, a lot of that is due to the Heart of Feyendel, which grew pretty good this week. So let's go ahead to the top 10 and see where we were moving on top 10. Snapdragon Scalers was the biggest card of the week, gaining 87% of its value from 200 to 375. Barkbone Strapping went from 140 to 207, which was 47%. And Breakneck Battery, which was a rare, was increased in price by $2, which is 23%. Really, probably the better thing to put there is the Heart of Feyendel, which is up 21% from $23,000 to $28,000, which is an increase of $5,000 if you can't do basic math. And the weekly 10 non-foil gainers, Spinal Crush is up 166% from $15. Remember, we had that bad price last week, up to $40, which is where it was the week before. Blood Rush Bellow went from $24 to $45, up 87%. And Singing Steelblade up from $20 to $31, up 57%. The biggest losers of cards, Showtime, the super rare rainbow foil, went from $70 to $20, which is a change of minus 71%. Spinal Crush Red Majestic, they're all red, sorry, went from $450 to $200, which was a 55% loss. And then the Mask of Momentum Cold Foil went from $2,200 to $1,838. Now keep in mind, that's just, there was only one that sold this week that I saw, so that could be a seller who didn't know the prices, or it could have been involved in a bigger deal. So at minus 16%. And then the non-foil losers, Crazy Brew, went from $25 to $13, which was a retracement back to its original price a couple weeks ago. That's a 48% loss. Reckless Swing went from 13 to 9, which is a 30% loss. And Potion of Strength went from 13 to 10, which is a 22% loss. Hope you have a great day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. I hope you get the cards that you're looking for and are finishing up their collections and are excited for Monarch. We will be, this is the last one. So this is the last one of the week. We will see you next week. I will potentially have a top 10 list for you for the whole week tomorrow or the next day. Life is a little busy, but it might not happen. But if it does happen, you can catch it right here on Kitchen Table TCG. And anyway, be kind to the people around you. We hope to see you soon.